Hey, Dr. Smith.
Yes.
We have another question for a good medical minute, if you're ready for it.
Definitely.
Joe wrote in, and he said he brought his films to a doctor, and the doctor lost them. So is that normal?
It does happen, but we have certain protocols to keep that from happening, and I can kind of go over that a little bit. Nowadays, well, let me show you. Hey, do we have anybody that's turned in any films?
Yes, sir. We just got this one in.
Okay, thank you. If somebody turns in their studies, they come in the form of a CD like this. We don't get the old films like in the old days. So the x-rays and the MRIs and everything that we need to look at would be on this. And then what do we do with this?
We'll go to his laptop. We'll load him. It takes a couple of minutes only. Just like this. And just like that, they're transferred.
Let me take a look. Now, if somebody does lose one of these, or if we lose one, it's very easy for us to make a copy of it. These things are very inexpensive, so we could make a copy and send it. And I think most physicians' offices or most surgeons' offices can do that. So, though it's inconvenient, and I'm not saying it's a good idea if they lose your disc, if it is lost, it's very easy to replace. And in most cases, because we deal with digital things. For example, we copied this, we keep the information on our computer system, and then Rocio can send it to my viewing station, and that's all we need. The actual disc, if the patient doesn't want it, we just dispose of it. If they want another one, we can make another one. They cost very, very little. So I'll let you hold on to this, and if you can send those to my viewing station, I'll go look at it.
Right over.
Thank you. So this is the viewing station.
Anything
And you
private on there right now?
I don't think so. If we see any names, we'll have to blur that out. And so this is what I see when I'm looking at somebody's studies. I have a list of all the studies that I want to look at, and I can pull those up. We have them stored, as Rocio just showed you, on the computers in the office, and that of course goes to a hard drive, and then I can pull that up on different systems. Even from my house or different locations, I can pull those up. So when we're communicating, we communicate just by sending them digitally, much like you would send a text message. So we don't really need the disc. If the disc is lost, it doesn't affect us. That's why we don't hold on to them, don't keep them. Though once again, I realize you lost, what was his name again?
Joe.
Joe. I realize Joe lost his disc, but if it ever is lost, it can be easily replaced. And for us, we don't keep discs. We just keep the digital information. Once we have the information, we can manipulate it. Here you see an example of an MRI of the lower back, and I can look at it. I can, switch pictures to different ones.
And you have all of these images when you go in for a procedure, right? If you need them?
Well, now, if somebody's going to have a procedure, I might transfer these pictures to the hospital, or I have all these, you probably noticed all of these iPads. What I'll do is I'll send them to the iPad. Like if I'm in a room talking to the patient, I can talk to Rocio or my assistant and say, hey, send in such and such studies, and they will essentially text them to me and they show up on the laptop. So for example, here's somebody that's having surgery tomorrow.
Try to hide names.
We'll have to hide the name, but basically here we're looking at the lower back from the side. This is the front, that's the back. These are the bones in the back, and these are the discs. Typically these all line up, but as you can see, this one is slipped on that one, and that pinches the sciatic nerve. And if we want to measure how much it's pinching, we look at this view, which is an airplane view from the top down. Front, back, right side, left side. And so there you can see the sciatic nerve has essentially just disappeared. There it's open again. So this might be what I would bring to the hospital if I was going to talk to the family, something like that. preoperatively, I would show this as opposed to like a report or something like that. I also have the report loaded on this, but usually when we're dealing in studies in this day and age, it's all digital. It's going to be sent from one place to the next, at least between hospitals, physicians, or between me and my staff. It's all done digitally, so they just send it to me. If I want something, they send it to me, so we don't really worry about the disc per se. And that's why we don't store those, don't keep them. When you check in, Rocio makes a copy of it, or whoever's at the front desk, and then we'll immediately give that disc back to you. And there's really different reasons for that. Number one, we have all the information that we need, but number two, many times we see people from basically all over the place. They may be coming just for a second opinion. If somebody comes and sees me, I may tell them what I would do surgically to fix it, but then all of the original information, all of the original CDs, I give right back to them because they may want to go someplace else for a third opinion. It's their information. I don't want to impede them in their pursuit of finding the best way to cure themselves. I may think I have the best idea, but yet they may not be satisfied and they may want to take that disc someplace else, and I don't want to impede their ability to go someplace else. So any studies we get are immediately given back. And as I mentioned, I know it was his actual question, so that's why I keep saying that again and again, but if for some reason we did lose the disc, we have the technology to immediately print out another one of those discs. Literally, they cost less than a penny a piece for us to print those things out. So we'll actually print you as many as you want, probably in whatever color you want, though we would obviously be as careful as we can to maintain and hold on to your original disc in the time that we have it, which, like I say, is usually less than 5 minutes. And also, when we get information from other facilities, it's sent to us digitally. So that's the way we would look at it. That's the way we transfer things, at least with the facilities that we deal with. And hopefully I didn't beat that to death. I think I answered that question adequately on how we handle the films.
And a lot of good information about what you see when you're looking at the information.
Exactly. We deal, we don't hold on to anybody's information. They give us the disc, we give it right back to them. All the films, all the studies that we have are encrypted and follow all the guidelines for safe storage. And if asked, if somebody doesn't want us to keep the data, we have the ability to purge the data from our system, and that's it. So in most cases, we are going to hold on to it, but if they don't want us to, if we didn't treat them, then we might not. But once again, we have to follow the guidelines there. If we've done surgery on somebody, even if they move, we may have to hold on to the information, in which case we would give them copies of it. So hopefully I answered it. I mean, it's actually very simple. I think we have a very nice system, proud of it. We look at our studies in 5K, and we have the ability to instantly show them to anyone, and anytime anybody wants to see them, we can go from room to room or any location. Hopefully that answers your question. Once again, I'm sorry you lost your disc, but thank you. And the most important thing is you lost your disc, but don't forget to subscribe, okay? Thanks.